You are now tuned in to Welcome to the Jungle podcast, where we're going to give you the latest and greatest on financial literacy. We're going to bring you credit. We're going to bring you business. We're going to bring you local entrepreneurs. It's going to show you how they got ahead so that you don't be scared. We're going to get in touch with the youth so that you can tell you what they got going on today, because I know that some of y'all just don't know. Click the link, tap in, and get locked in. Remember, no retreat, no surrender. Every man must search his own soul. The distance between what you have and what you want, y'all should write that down, is knowledge. So if you are not seeking knowledge, then you are not seeking wisdom, you're not seeking information, and then you expect your life to change. So that tells me that you only practicing willful ignorance. You're either going to know or you're going to not know. But right. There's too much information. Google is at the tip of your fingers.
Or they want the homie because you're the homie.
Yeah, right? You're the homie. I want you to give it to me. I don't want to take your course. I'm not going to pay for the course. I'm going to slide in your inbox and ask you a bunch of questions. Nah, if you don't pay, you're not going to pay attention. If there's no transaction, there'll be no transformation. So I'm not giving you any information. You're not going, because you're not going. If there, you want to say it again, baby? You want me to say it again? I say it again. If you don't pay, you won't pay attention. If there's no transaction, there will be no transformation.
That's
and guess
a play
what? You
right
not.
there.
Guess what? That's a play right there. You better write it down. Because guess what? You're not going to do. You're not going to flunk on my dime. You're not going to cop out on my dime. You're not going to drop out on my dime.
Because the program is really what you put in is what you get out, right?
If the program works, if you work. So, that's just kind of like where we at with it.
Traditionalism.
Traditionalism. Now, that's what you need to get to. That's the root, goddess, because really talking about that traditionalism is really getting down to that root.
Well, hold on. You interrupted me.
Okay.
Yes, I was about to go, and then
you lost it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll find it for you.
You know how I be. It's gonna come back around.
Okay, yeah. So traditionalism, man. Just think about traditionalism, like what we've been taught. Money don't fall from trees. Don't look, don't touch, don't think. So you grow up with thinking that money is a scarcity.
Right.
It's a scarcity. It's a scarcity mindset now. So now you're gonna grow up to become an adult, and that scarcity mindset is gonna do what? Start practicing procrastination, scam. You're not gonna think that you're worthy, and money don't fall from trees. Gucci can service 500 people in a store a day, but guess how many they can service online? So money ain't the problem. Go sit in front of Gucci, see how many people buying Gucci inside the mall.
Right. I mean, Gucci be packed.
It be packed. It be lines out there like a club.
Right.
Like a club. But you trying to figure out why somebody ain't buying your $200 course, why somebody ain't buying your $200, $300 product, but go sit in front of that store, people buying $1,000 worth of things. So it's about the value that you putting into stuff. You know what I mean? So just thinking of... Hey, what up, y'all? Big Three. You know what it is, man. Welcome to No Retreat, No Surrender. Anybody looking for any kind of product placements, become a guest on the show, or you want to get some marketing done, or you want to collaborate, make sure you DM me right now. Beat me there, don't meet me there. Let's get it going. You know what it is. Talk to them. Big Three. About traditionalism, like we've been taught. There's some people that's been taught to be workers and not owners.
I was just going to touch on that.
Touch on that.
Right. So going into, because don't let me get off track, because I will get off track. Is we supposed to be talking about our stories and our experiences?
No, you talking about traditionalism.
Right, but that goes into, you said worker, and it just triggered a whole thing.
It triggered a whole story.
It triggered a whole thing for me.
It triggered a whole thing. I don't know what this do.
Whatever.
I didn't know it was that. I didn't know that was the right button. I thought it was the applause.
I'm gonna let that slide.
There we go.
The first one. We gonna evolve.
We gonna get it right, y'all. I don't know. They still laughing too. I don't know what's going on in the background. Y'all can't hear the background, so it's crazy. What's up? What's up, bro? All right, yeah. So yeah. So traditionalism. We talked about willful ignorance. Willful ignorance. So yeah, we went to that traditionally, then went into willful ignorance. But I mean, just go ahead with your story though.
Right, and just because you touched on being taught to be a worker, it made me think the other day as we were getting prepared for this talk show, what my experience was. And I was not taught to be an entrepreneur. Although I had a little hustle as a child, I was collecting the carts and the cans and babysitting. I always had something going on. So it was in me, but my folks around me did not teach me to be the business entrepreneur. You know what I mean? It was a worker. So I worked a corporate job for 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. So that traditionalism also raised by my grandparents, much older generation, and Sorry, I got to get closer to the mic.
Right. Yeah, you know, grandparents, that's what they were. They came to work, though. They were workhorses, you know what I mean? And that's what the era that they came from.
Right.
So to become an owner, they wasn't even taught the foundation of being an owner. Even though there was black owners and stuff that did, you know, just generally in our household, you know, the man had to work and the lady stayed at home, and she had like that time was like 15 kids running around. So she had to stay at home. Wasn't really no work. And then thinking just when, what is it? The feminist movement came around and stuff like that. That was, you know, a demographic of men telling their women to stay at home. It'd be Susie Homemaker, white picket fence, this whole dream about what America is supposed to look like in a family household. Right. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, we are creators, and man wombs live in a mind. So what we think we create, and a woman womb live in her belly, and she creates life, and she also brings forth life into the situation that you bring. If you are leading correctly and you are creating. Now, I always tell people, like, you know, people do not create the world. People with ideas create the world. You know what I mean? People don't create the world.
I always have a good idea.
You always have a good idea. You know, like I said, every head shall bow and every tongue shall confess. You always have great ideas. You know, you are a free thinker, and I love that about you. You know, and I think that's why it brings balance to our situation.
Cash up me $5.99 for any idea.
No. You know, that part. So, you know, and then I guess kind of going into we're gonna keep going with the slides. So just a little fun fact for you guys to understand that 1 in 4 Americans have a credit score less than 650.
And that's the reality.
So that's the reality. You know, the good, bad, and reality. That 1 in every 4 Americans have a less than 650 credit score. And going off credit will be the key. 80% of what you do in America will be built off of credit. No matter whether you are going to get an apartment, you're going to go get a car, you're applying for funding, you are applying for business funding. They still going to use you as a personal guarantor or a PG. So you have to make sure that your credit is getting up to par. You know what I mean? You have to make sure, because cash is trash and credit is king. You know, cash is trash and credit is king. Cash has no value. We see the inflation. The Fed fund rate went up 75 basis points for the second time, you know, and what that means for the consumer is, well, what the Fed rate is that for the banks to actually give you funding, they have to borrow money. So if the interest rate went up on them borrowing money, what do you think is going to naturally happen to you when you go to borrow money from the banks, right?
Right. So who they borrow from?
From the Fed fund rate? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Who they borrow from? The Federal Reserve. Yeah.
Wow.
Federal Reserve, you know. So even
they just create these systems.
They just create these systems, you know. They create these systems because America is a corporation. It's not a country. You know, I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize. When you look at America as a corporation, you start to look at your family as a corporation. You start to look at your family as a business. You start to look at everything that you do as a business. I don't objectify and take things from people, but I do always now, with a business mindset, look at what I can get out of a person. What kind of business can I do? Because at the end of the day, whatever you are doing with somebody is going to be a transaction, whether it's a transaction of energy, a transaction of thoughts, a transaction of ideas. What can I gain from this person? Can this person teach me anything? You know, what kind of a resource are you if you're going to be in my life and we're going to deal with each other?
What value are you bringing to, you know, what are you bringing to the potluck?
What are you bringing to the potluck, man? You just showing up.
Just showing up.
A lot of people just be showing up. And again, that's falls back to like procrastination to everything else. Like, what are you doing with yourself? You
Those limiting mindsets, even believing that you don't deserve that, you know?
Right.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah. So even with thinking about that, I want you guys to think about even the reality as well as when dealing with a house, right? Dealing with a house, you can have a $240,000 house, and if you have a 560 credit score, your monthly payments can be about $2,600, right? And if that rate at 12.9% could easily put you at about 9,000. Almost like that's almost now that house, that $250,000 house is almost $1 million house. It's around $955,000.
It jump almost in half.
Jump, right?
Yeah.
You're almost paying almost $1 million for a $250,000 house.
Just because your credit score looking like the gas prices.
Ooh, the credit score. The gas price is higher than your credit score? Oh, some of y'all need to tighten up. Gas prices higher than so many people credit
Put your
score.
credit score in the
They ain't going
in the messages.
It was somebody or said
That's
I'm
part
one
of the
them.
application.
Said I'm one of them. So look at it now. Let's look at it from this angle. Somebody with a 740 credit score can easily be paying about $1,200 to $1,300 a month with a 6 point or maybe a 4 point interest rate. That house now is about $435,000, somewhere around there. So what I want you to think about, just to kind of put it in perspective, right, is that house went up maybe a couple more thousand, right? Mm-hmm. But if you look at the first thing, that 560, that's a 541,000 jump. You just bought your banker a house.
Because that's the only number that's going to fluctuate.
That's the only number that's going to fluctuate, yeah.
I mean, look at all the numbers. You know, I'm a number person. Mm-hmm. And that's the only number on here that's the direct number that's making the numbers move.
Yeah. About $541,000.
You're
more.
paying double.
Yeah.
The lower your score is.
The lower your score is. And if you think, like I said, if you think about a perspective with that number, you just bought your banker a house. That house is $240,000. And if you got a low credit score, you're going to pay $500,000 extra on top of that to get that house.
Right.
That's another house.
Like
who got that $500,000? You just bought your banker a house.
Like the car situation.
Facts. Facts. Yeah.
Run the play. Why you?
I keep pushing the wrong button.
Oh, okay, wrong button.
I don't know.
Want me.
I try to get.
Can I take this home? Can I take the womp button home?
The womp button. Thanks for tuning in. You know what it is, man. Look, you got to stay locked in, though. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all of the things that's popping up across the screen, and make sure you get tuned in, man. So lock in. Again, we thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you look out for the next episode on Welcome to the Jungle podcast. We see y'all later.